guys. My camera was like flashing before, so I got a little nervous, like something was wrong. So I wanted to restart my computer just in case. But can you hear me? If you can hear me, I'll try to add timestamps. If you're watching the playback, I'll try to add timestamps later so that you can see all the questions that we'll be answering today that you guys submitted on YouTube and Instagram. But fun fact, I have this by my side because thank you, Anne, for telling me that you can hear me. Hi guys. I have this because I literally feel like I have some sort of mosquito sixth sense. And I woke up this morning going, I bet you there's a mosquito. And lucky me, I was right. So I saw him flying around and I was like, yes, that will make the live so much more entertaining when there is a bug trying to attack my face. So watch out. I'm ready. Oh, hi, Maddie. Sarangye. Hi, guys. From New York. Hello from New York. New York, New York. Okay. Just so you know, I made a post over on YouTube and I have a little poll over on Instagram. If you have any questions, those are the places to leave it. I'm going to give like some of that a little bit higher priority because, yeah, people posted their questions in advance, but I will try to keep up with the chat. I will try to keep up with the chat as well. But hello from Texas. Hello. Hi, Jay. But yeah, so if you have questions, feel free to, I can link it here super fast. You can add it over on Instagram or in this post that's over on YouTube. Can I find it? Can I post it? I should be able to. This is my job after all. Okay, here we go. So post it on, oh, there's the share button. Little arrow, share. Oh, I guess I can share it again. I'll share it to my community page. Leave your questions below. Smiley face. And then in my Instagram story as well. I really want to give those top priority, but I'll keep my eye on the chat as best as I can. Need another dice roll video. That was awesome. I'm glad you guys liked that. Hello from Wisconsin. Hi, Vicky. I also really enjoyed that video, but fun fact, I was really beating myself up about the editing. I'm really good at doing that. I'm like, man, it could be better, but I just wanted to get the video up because I've been telling you guys I want to do like a video every other weekend, and then on the off weekends I go live. And so I did. I stayed up super late and I did the dang thing. And I was like, man, this video is like not as good as it could be. And everyone was like, that was so much fun. And I was like, why do I beat myself up about this editing thing? But the other, oh my gosh, the other issue is just that whenever I post vlog type videos, my audience gets quite skewed. And I really want my videos to be helpful for foreigners. And whenever people post vlogs, they kind of go viral in Korea. And then it skews my whole entire audience unless people find my videos. So it's like, I got to figure out what to do. Anyways, today's live is not going to be that long because I'm actually going on a trip. I'm very thankful. Yeah, I'm thankful that I have a job that I can just step away from. And so I will be on here for maybe, hopefully like an hour max. I should be like 45 minutes. And then I have to head to the train station. I'm going to do like a complete unplug. I did this once before, but maybe not 100% unplug, but I'm just bringing my Bible and some books and my journal. And I'm going to talk to Jesus for a long time because we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. Some pretty big, yeah. decisions in my life and stuff, but I could just use some more falling in love with Jesus time. That's for sure. Okay. So let me get to the questions in this post that I made on YouTube first. And then if you have questions, I would definitely leave them over on my Instagram, which is just at MEGAN-OSTEN on Instagram as well. There's like a little story that I have, and I would recommend that you put your questions there as well. Where's the post? Where's it at? Here we go. Okay, so many good questions. My goodness. Okay. I plan on going to Seoul in spring of 2024, but this really applies to all of you. Will I need Korean won, or does Korea accept dollars/Visa credit cards? I always recommend that you have some sort of Korean won if you're going to come to South Korea, period. It's good to have cash, just like, anywhere that you go. It's good to just have cash on you in case you need it. You never know what could happen. And especially in Korea, just in case you are struggling and a card for some reason doesn't work, uh, then you have a backup option. So I always keep some cash on me. Also, for public transportation cards, you can only purchase them with cash, and you can only add money onto those with cash. So if you plan on taking any public transportation, the buses stopped taking cash. A lot of buses did in Seoul, at least. So if you don't have cash to put money on a T-Money card, how are you going to get anywhere? So I definitely recommend that you have some sort of cash on you at all times, but they would not accept currency from any other country but Korean won. But I recommend always having a Visa card or a credit card and a debit card. And I link the ones that I use in the description. The cards that I use for traveling, like my credit card that I get a lot of travel points on, and then also my debit card that has no international transaction fees. That's super important. And you want to make sure that every time you swipe your card, you're not getting charged an unnecessary fee. So if you have that, then you can pull money from ATMs really easily without having to pay extra fees. And then you can put the money directly on your transport card or pay for things. I think someone else also asked me about, oh gosh, where is the best exchange place? What's the best exchange? Like, where can I go to exchange money that is the most, like, what's the best rate I could get in person? And a lot of people think that, like, convenience is the best place for in person. And a lot of people are like, I want the best rate. So I'm going to answer both. Like, conveniently, there are currency exchanges in the airport. So if you really don't want to have to like be bothered, you could just do it there. I think that that is going to be cheaper than you requesting Korean won currency from your home bank in your home country. But the exchange rates are not good in the airport. Just like SIM cards, I don't recommend you buy them from the airport. Please use the link I have down below and buy your SIM card in advance. You can even pick the option to like have airport pickup. So it would be like you're buying it in the airport, but you're getting it for a whole heck of a lot cheaper than the prices in the airport. The prices in the airport are expensive for no reason. So definitely recommend that. Hello from London. Hey, Tim. Good to see you. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So that the exchange rate in the airport is definitely bad, but convenient. In person, I would say Myeongdong has some really good in-person like exchange centers. I guess you could, yeah, just like they're literally like you'll just see it's kind of like a square sign, and there's 4 different types of currency. I think it's like there's like a US dollar, maybe like the Chinese. I don't remember what the 4, but it's like a square sign with 4 different types of currency. And you can just kind of walk down and look to see, like, they show their exchange rate. And usually the ones that are a little bit more off the beaten path have a little bit better of a rating. But they're all over Myeongdong, near Myeongdong, like, subway station. You'll be able to find them quite easily. I should look at some more of the comments because you sent. Oh, no question here. Just wishing you a blessed rest of your day and a great live stream. Thank you so much. We stick together. That's so cute. Thank you so much. Hello, new subscriber. I'm happy to have you here. This is live, yes. Okay, hold on. Let me get back to the post. When will I need to change my phone from my current phone service to, I'm guessing, like a SIM card? So, how does the SIM card thing even work? Again, linked below. I really recommend you use the SIM card company Tracy that I linked below. You can get it sent to you in the mail in advance before your trip, so you have it. And then you can switch, if you have a physical SIM card, you can switch that out in the plane so that when you land, you might just have to turn your phone on and off a few times, play with like airplane mode for it to eventually connect. But eventually it will connect. If your phone's unlocked, if you haven't watched my SIM card video, there's a lot of like warning things, like you need to make sure you're doing certain things in advance if you want to make sure the SIM card will work in your phone. Like your phone has to be unlocked. That's very important. So watch the SIM card video, but you can, if it's a physical SIM, you can just switch it out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did that with Tracy. It was perfect. Yeah. I think it's the most convenient way to just have it. You switch it out when you land. You have service. Bada bing, bada boom. You're done. And if you get that plan, if for some reason it's usually like a 3-month max. But if you get a long-term visa or you end up like saying like I want to stay longer, and you have like proof of like visa transferring, or you get an ARC number, you can extend and keep your phone number. You just have to reach out to Tracy and say, hey, I'm going to be living here because I'm a student and here's my ARC. So you can extend it. So you can come, you get 3 months, and then eventually by that time, if you're a student or a teacher or something, you should have your ARC and then you can extend it longer. So you can keep your phone number if you want, which is nice. I really don't like changing my phone number. So that's my recommendation. So many good questions. Please add them to my YouTube post or on Instagram, because I feel bad. It's really hard for me to keep up with the chat and these, but I said that for this live stream, I'm going to give the YouTube post priority on here. They also said they're going to only be in Korea for 14 days. Is like, people still often ask, like, is a SIM card worth it? Also, I have also for iPhone 14. So make sure that your phone takes physical SIM cards. I also linked in the description down below a good eSIM card from a company called, I believe, Airlo is what it's called. That's the most like frequently I've heard the most people say that they've had success with that. And an eSIM is just like an app. And so it's all like electronically happening in your phone. So that's another super easy and decently cheap. I think I also put a promo code. Is it in there? There's like a promo code with Airlo that you can get. Oh, it's not in this one. No. Can I add that so you guys can get money off? Because we love money off. We love money off, don't we? Come here, Airlo. What's a promo code so people could save some money? Use promo code. Okay, well, it's $3. I guess it's a referral code. I thought it was just a promo code. Anyways, you get $3 off, you know? $3? That's a few subway trips. You know what I'm saying? Okay. There's a promo code for $3 off. $3 off. Yay, money saving. ESim. Okay, put that in the description. I just saved it. I used Airlo and it was fantastic and easy to use. Nice. Someone said eSIMs are good, but tend to be a little bit more expensive. Unlimited data for a week costs like 20 USD. A little expensive, but I honestly don't think that that's all that bad for unlimited. If you have, oh, okay, this is a very important thing that I did want to say. Oh, so many hearts. Oh, that's you're so sweet. Thank you, Justin. Welcome to September. Isn't it crazy? It's September. Something I want to say about the importance of SIM cards that I think gets missed a lot is if you want to take a taxi, which I would think most of you would want to take at some point. They're quite convenient. They're super inexpensive in comparison to other countries. I took a taxi from my friend and I, we were praying at her house, but she lives kind of a bit far. We took a taxi, tried to make it in time to the subway, me and my friend, and we didn't make it in time. So then we took another taxi down to my house, and then uh, he was kind enough. Like my friend just kept going in the same taxi, but it in total, I think USD was only like $25, $24, and that was like super late at night. So I think that, and there's no tip. So it's like you should have the option to take the taxi in case you need to, because public transportation does stop around midnight. So not always. There's night buses. So some night buses continue to run throughout the night. But if you don't have a phone number, you cannot take a taxi. And I think that is like crucial being in Korea. So phone number for taxis sometimes certain at a lot of these more popular restaurants, and things have gotten so busy. Like tourism is still going like up and up and up and up. There are wait lists at restaurants that use phone numbers to like check in, like, hey, I want to join this wait list, and then they'll text you or Kakao message you, but it's connected to your phone number. They'll send you a message on Kakao saying like, hey, your table's ready. But if your phone number isn't attached to your phone, it's just kind of like you kind of need it. So I do think that, and for safety reasons, there's a few reasons throughout that I think if you're coming with like a group of people, one person should have a SIM card. Slash, if you're solo, I think no matter how long your trip is, just get a SIM card, even if it's just a simple plan and you only have like 200 minutes of talking and like 200, I don't know. That's so small, but just like 1 gigabyte of data just to have a phone just in case you're stranded, there's no Wi-Fi, you're lost. But at the end of the day, you can't connect to a lot of Wi-Fi to get around. So if you are lost, just find a Starbucks. They always have Wi-Fi and you can usually connect from outside, and you just have to click like agree. You don't have to like input information on the English menu. So overall, I think it's important for safety reasons to have a SIM card. Hello, it's good to see you guys again, too. So, from what my friends have told me, again, I can't unconnect my phone, but a lot of people have said that they are not able to hire or call a taxi because they can't make an account. And then, yeah, I don't know if they're doing something wrong and I can't tell from my side, but yeah, I've had multiple people say because I didn't have a phone number that they couldn't connect to a taxi. So I think that that's just, again, but for safety reasons, I just really think that it's not that much more expensive. So just go for it. I'll look over the comments here quick. Oh, use an eSIM with Tracy as well. Good to know. There's eSIM options there too. Happy Drawings is here. Hello. The baseball content. So I'm actually not on the baseball team anymore. I stepped down basically because it wasn't turning into what they had said that it would turn into. And they were thinking that maybe you would make some like good content. And I do have like videos that I have filmed. So I don't know if eventually I'll have those edited. But it was a pretty like decently sized commitment for not really a lot of payout or reward. Like I wasn't getting paid or anything to come to practice. And a lot of people didn't show up to practice, but I was consistently showing up to practice. But I was like actually good at it. Like I've played. So I knew how to throw the ball and catch it and hit it. I'm not perfect. I'm not amazing, but a lot of people who weren't that great wouldn't come to practice, but then they would show up for the game, and it's like we were doing really well, and then they keep like the team's good enough to like hit the ball towards the person who's not good, and so you're just sitting in the outfield like, oh my gosh, like this is so embarrassing. This is so bad. So not on the baseball team anymore, but I'm happy that I'm happy to I didn't give up on the team. I stuck with them for like over a year, and they kept saying like it'll get better, but then we were losing teammates, and it was just like, and then one of my really close friends got really hurt, and so she can't play anymore. The other person on the team, I can't say why, but she couldn't play on the team anymore. So all the foreigners were like dwindling away anyways, and it's like I definitely don't speak enough Korean, and like the person that spoke the most Korean, like, and English, like left the team. So there was just a lot about it that was really hard, and I don't think that the team is even together anymore. I don't really know. Anyways, okay. I see some SIM card talks. I was just talking about the SIM card, so I wanted to make sure. Yes, sometimes SIM cards can have data, sometimes not. And I suggest my favorite eSIM and my favorite SIM card in the description box below. So check it out. Check it out. T-Money cards, where to purchase them. You can actually purchase them in the airport. So easy. When you land, you can go to the convenience store if you're in Terminal 2, and you can go to the little... They actually, both terminals have vending machines now that have like T-Money card / map little boxes, but I think that those went up in price. So I think it's better to just go to the convenience store inside of the airport to just get it, and then you can put money on it right there, or you can use the machines that allow you to put money on the card, but you have to pay cash. Cash. You need cash. Korean won, not just any cash. Korean won. You need Korean won. So someone is saying, I want to buy a train ticket from Seoul to elsewhere, and they're traveling down on a Saturday. This is a really good question. I'm only going to be in Seoul for a week, so can I wait to buy when I arrive, or should I buy it like off of like a website or something? When I say the likelihood of you getting a ticket on a Saturday, if you don't buy it in advance, is that it's bad. Okay. So I have a video all about the train, how to take the train. I even have a train guide, because I think there's more things that are confusing about taking the train than some of the other public transportation. So I made a whole guide about it, and that's on the coffee page that I have. But definitely watch the video. I explain how to buy tickets in advance. It's one of the only ways that I know that a foreigner can buy a ticket in advance, have a seat that's theirs, that's like reserved. You usually can't buy things off of certain websites unless you have like Korean websites, unless you have an ARC or you are here like as a long-term foreigner. You can't just buy it as long-term visa as a foreigner, but you have certain specific numbers and Korean bank cards and stuff. So if you check out that video in the description box below, you can buy train tickets in advance so that you know you have a seat. And they're like unlimited passes, so you can actually buy your train ticket. Like you buy one of those and it allows you to go and come back if you're going within like a certain amount of time. So it's actually discounted as well. And if you go with like one or more people, you can click the saver option, which means you get even more money off. We love saving money. Let me see. I can just quickly put this video in the description box below. I will add that here now. Ta-da. Ah, I did something wrong. Why can't we be free? Why can't we? Train tickets. Train video. I'll call it train video. Save. I love that I can edit that as we're going. Okay, I do want to see this. I want to answer this question because I saw it. How's the weather? We finally got out of the 110-degree zone that lasted for weeks in Texas. You guys, I sadly know what you're talking about because there were numerous days here where it was 116 degrees, like feels like. I don't know what your feels like was, but it was so hot and so humid. And then we kind of had this like mini, there's monsoon season. I don't say that as in like it's not real, like it's actually a real thing, but I felt like we have monsoon 2.0 season because it came back and it was like raining multiple days in a row. And I love the rain. So sorry, guys. The Lord has probably given me the rain that I had requested because it makes me feel cozy. And I was having like a tough day. And so I just wanted to be inside in the rain. Like that's the best. But that brought all the mosquitoes inside. So that's why me and my best friend are sitting here. um, but yeah, so it's definitely cooled down. It feels like 130. Absolutely not, Jay. No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, it's been hot and I'm thankful that it's cooled down. It started to really feel like September weather. It's gonna be so nice. It's gotten a lot cooler. So thankfully it's gotten a lot better. Okay, I'm checking out this post some more. Ba, 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 ba. So some people ask about like making reservations at spa appointments. And the person says that they speak Korean, but I assume that a lot of people maybe don't. I don't think that you can usually. They were saying, can we call businesses on Kakao? Like, is there like a free app? I'm assuming maybe you don't have a SIM card with like a phone number. I truly don't know of a way that you could call without having a phone. Because you can maybe message the business on Kakao and set an appointment like that. So setting appointments, if you have their Kakao Talk, you could probably set it. There is a call option on Kakao Talk, so if you wanted to just voice call them, it would be a little strange for a business to receive a Kakao Talk call, but not impossible, especially if you speak Korean. For those of you who don't speak Korean, or those of you like that often, yeah, I get asked like, how can I make appointments? And a lot of things. You need to have ARCs. You need to like be living here in Korea. So your best way, if you did want to schedule maybe like a nail appointment with someone you saw on Instagram, you're just going to have to message them on Instagram and say, I'd really like to book appointment. And then they can help you and then save that slot for you on like the Korean websites, or just like take it off as unavailable. So it's kind of like, it's very hard to make appointments if you don't have the ARC and the Korean bank account and phone numbers and all of that stuff. But you don't need to have a Korean account on Naver. Someone reached out and was trying to make like an Naver account for like the appointment making side of it, but you don't need to make that portion of the Naver account if you want to use Naver and save things in like the maps. You can still do that without having the official like Naver account. Never mind. Y'all probably, unless you're the one person that I was talking to, you're probably like, I don't understand what she's saying. What kind of outlets are in Korea for blow dryer and iPhone chargers? Okay. Are they different from America? Very much different. You need adapters. No matter what country you're going to, you need to have an adapter. Period. But I link below what I recommend for adapters and converters. You have to understand. Do not bring a hairdryer here. Do not bring any hair appliances here. Do not. a lot of Airbnbs and hotels will have blow dryers for you to use those. And a lot of straighteners, curling irons will fry. You can buy converters, but things like hair curling, hair care products, usually the converter is not enough in order for it to go well, I guess. And it'll just literally explode and fry, and it'll either destroy the converter or it'll destroy the device itself. So if you have the converter, so adapter is the thing that you put over the plug of the home country that you have. Converter is a machine that is actually converting the amount of power that this device is used to getting to the device in which it's getting plugged into. And the amount of times that people just think they can put an adapter on the end of something or plug it into a converter when it's a hair product, it's a big no. It really will just explode. Like it'll spark and so don't bring hair products. But as far as chargers go, iPhone, if you have an actual cube that is from Apple, that's like the cube, whether it be small or computer large, if you have that, it actually has the converting capability within it. So you're just going to need for that the adapter, because those prongs won't plug into the wall in Korea. You need specific adapters for that. And I link adapters down below that I recommend. How's the YouTube influencer community in South Korea? Do you have a strong bond like the expat community? That's a very cool question. I would say that I meet the most influencers and content creators on the trips that are often sponsored, where they kind of, cities outside of Seoul will hire Korean marketing companies in order to promote their city and in the hopes that tourism would be promoted in that area. So often I'll go on these trips. I haven't been really looking out for them recently because I've been just incredibly too busy. But often they'll have these trips where if you have a certain amount of followers, you can just go on the trip. And as long as you make content, that is like the exchange. You're not getting paid money usually. Sometimes you do. But majority of the time you go on the trip, you build experiences, you get all this content, and then you have to put the content up by a certain amount of time, like a deadline. And that's where I'll meet the most content creators. That's where I built some of my closest friends, like Ante and Alex. I love them so much. I really have built some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends from going on those trips. And you do, like, the content creating world here, you just understand the frustrations that maybe some other people don't. Oh, hi Alexis. Love you. I think that content creators, fellow content creators, there's just stuff that you get. Like you just understand that it's hard to understand unless you make videos. Like me saying earlier in this live, I said that my kind of like my analytics and my audience gets skewed according to what type of video I post. If I post like informative videos, those are way more helpful to foreigners. And so those videos do well in foreign countries that speak English. But whenever I post a vlog or anything that's like fun traveling in Seoul, it always gets picked up by the Korean audience. And maybe my subscriber count will kind of like pop off for a little bit, but it ends up hurting my channel overall because I want to help people. And I think that the vlogs are informative and helpful. But then once I post it, the YouTube algorithm thinks that Koreans want to see my channel more than English speakers do. And that's obviously not the case. You know, like, not that I don't care, that like they can watch it, go for it. But it's just sad because it doesn't continue to push the video to foreigners. And I'm like, oh, I want to help people. and I definitely don't speak enough Korean to make, a video in Korean. So it's just kind of like things like that. Some people say, "Oh, like subscribers are good, views are good," but not always. So yeah, there's just things like that where like the struggle of it, it's really nice to talk to somebody that like gets it and understands how weird people can be in comments, and the type of questions sometimes that you get asked as content creators are just weird. So I do think we're pretty close here. We're kind of like a very rare group, right? We're like foreigners, so we already feel like we stick out in this country, and then we make videos. So it's like a very small niche of people. So we get along pretty quickly, pretty well. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Hello everybody. That's the joining. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I get to go on a trip today, so I'm really excited. Going to Busan in late October. Can I buy my train ticket? I talked about train ticket earlier, but something that I wanted to talk about as far as going down south, especially the different ways that you can get down south. You can technically go by bus or by train. And a lot of people tell me, like, what's the pros and cons to going by bus versus by train? And I added all of that to my train guide. So I have like a whole list of like, if you take the train, this is where it's going to drop you off. This is how you can get over to the beaches. If you take the bus, this is where you're going to get dropped off. You're going to have to take the subway. And so I explain all of that in that train guide that's on my coffee page as well. So I really, I don't know. I only ever put things out there for you guys for the sake of like, I wish I had this information in advance. So I really want to like, yeah, I try my best to like only make things, not, I don't make something. I just posted the train guide. I'll add this to the train guide PDF. I only would ever put a price tag on something that I found valuable, and I would never do something just to get money from you. Like, yeah, if there's a price tag on it, I spend a lot of time on it, and I think it's a really good resource. So I really recommend checking out that guide as well. Do 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 do. Okay, I'm gonna head on over to Instagram because I did a lot of the YouTube comments or questions. So let's look at so many questions. Church recommendations. I'm just going to list off some in no particular order that I know are good. There's one called King's Cross that's kind of over near Gangnam. There's one called Freedom Village that's in Itaewon, and then there's one called Gospel City Church that's near Yongsan, Yongsan Station, big iPark Mall near the High Building. Those are 3 that I super recommend. And then I believe there's one more charismatic called Saving Grace, but I forget where they are located. Sorry. You can look up on Instagram. Megan's not into subscribers and views. It's very true. I really just want to help you guys. And it's like incredible that God gave me the opportunity to, in a way that has become my job. So yeah. Solo travel tips for Seoul. Well, I guess a lot of my solo travel tips would probably be for all places. There are oh gosh. There's so many ways that my brain just took this question. I felt like my brain just kind of spider webbed and was like there are so many different categories of like helpful tips and tricks. And I guess yeah, maybe we can use the comment. Oh, Yoido Full Gospel Church started an English ministry. Oh, thanks for that recommendation as well. I guess I can say like a few different categories for the solo traveling tips. And if you guys can comment what you're most interested in, I can talk about that. So I guess there's like how to meet people, how to make friends while you're here, And then there's dating advice and red flags and whatnot. And then there's just safety. I mean, I guess I could talk about all of them, but do any of those 3 categories sound interesting to you? Put it in the comment section. So what did I say? How to meet people, how to make friends. I guess that also kind of goes into like what can you do solo? Then there's the dating, like tips, advice, red flags, please don't do this. And then there's just like safety recommendations as of recently, things that have happened or ways in which that I think it's important to be precautious. More so these days. I'll wait for the comment section or the live stream comments chat. 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. Which one would you like to hear about? And I'll keep reading these questions while you guys vote. Is it easy to take a bus outside of Seoul as well? Not totally sure if I understand the question, but in Busan, which is where the person's asking, it's very easy to take buses around there. It's just like Seoul. They have public transportation, they have subways. They just come a little bit less frequently. And sometimes it's not like a bus station with like the overhang like you see a lot in Seoul. It's more just like a sign. It can just be a sign, and you just have to stand next to the sign, and the bus knows to stop there. So yeah, for those who maybe just joined, we have 3 questions of 1, 2, 3. Which one should I talk about solo travel tips? So like what to do, how to meet people, dating advice, red flags, and safety recommendations. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, someone said, "Love you, by the way." Hee hee. Love you too. How do you deal with doubt while prepping to go to Korea? That's a really good question. So a lot of like being alone, yeah, like it's you want to go to Korea, you are signed up to go to Korea, and then there's this like, oh my gosh, I'm going to Korea. I think I experienced that the most when I was in quarantine because that was again like the first time I had ever come to Korea, and I'm stuck in a room for 2 hours or for 2 weeks, 2 hours. That would have been fine. I would have loved it. 2 weeks, not so fine. And you just start to really realize the reality of what you're doing. So I guess that probably why you're asking is it's happening now as you're prepping. And it's totally, I think the first step is to tell yourself like you're not crazy. It's totally fine that you're scared, doubt, fears. You're moving to the other side of the world, and that's a big deal. And so be proud of yourself that you've gotten this far. So I think that giving yourself a really good pat on the back, a little hug to yourself. I wish I could hug you. I love giving hugs. It's so important to just tell yourself like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing this thing and you're going to do this thing and it's going to be okay." Thankfully, you're coming to a country that is quite safe. And since I got a 3, we'll go with the safety travel tips and stuff. The most, I guess, important thing these days in regards to being safe is when you're in touristy areas, so Myeongdong and Hongdae, mostly I would say Myeongdong, but in these like touristy areas, be a little bit more cautious about your belongings, not pickpocketing, but leaving your stuff at tables. You'll see a lot of Koreans leave their stuff at tables, walk away, go to the bathroom, come back, and nobody's touched their stuff. Like you can go in outside of touristy areas. You really can leave your stuff. You can go take a phone call outside, walking down up the street. Sometimes I've gone and gotten like a kimbap super fast and just I was so hungry. I run to the convenience store, but I'm trying to work like at a Starbucks. Run to the convenience store, eat the triangle kimbap, come back. Like that's not abnormal in Korea. But I don't recommend you leaving your stuff in cafes if you're or and restaurants unattended in the touristy areas. I just got caught up on my words because other foreigners from other countries know that Korea is like booming in tourism. So they're coming knowing that this is a thing. Like, oh, people are dumb. Like, they're not stupid, but like people think that they're gonna, you know, leave their stuff and it's not going to get touched. Oh, they're so dumb. Let me go take their stuff and run out. And that's actually happened. Really, they're stupid for even thinking, like, for even, oh, it just makes me so sad. Some of my subscribers got their phones and their purses stolen because of that. So just to be extra careful to not in the touristy areas, leave your stuff. But as a solo traveler, there are so many other people that are coming here as a solo traveler that if you join like an exchange program or if you go to like a school, like a language exchange school, most of those people walking in like, I wanted to come to Korea, but I don't know anybody. So it's a really great opportunity to meet a lot of people who are in the same circumstance as you. You can also go to these language exchange like meetups. Be careful with those because sometimes the people going to those, I heard a story recently that they got like the cult people sometimes show up at that, like trying to say like, why don't we go to this one place to get dinner and you buy all the food in advance. And I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. Some people only show up to get people in like the relational, how do I say this in a PG way? They just want to get friends with benefits, but they don't actually really want the friends part. So they show up and they can come off super nice. Just proceed with caution. I also know somebody that is my subscriber. Heyo, Ashley, congratulations. She moved here because she met her now, like, she's getting married. I don't know if she got married. I don't think she got married yet, but she's getting married to somebody who she met, a guy at one of these language exchanges. So it's like, proceed with caution. I'm telling you right now, proceed with caution. But there's always ways to meet people. Bumble BFF. You can go on tours. I hopefully will eventually have some sort of tour thing that we can do together. I have my online meetups that lead to the in-person meetups. And we just got Korean barbecue the other day together. And it's just so much fun to hang out with you guys in person. So there's a lot of ways to meet people. Going to my church, that's how I made my closest friends. Earlier in the video, I talked about church recommendations, so I'll go back and add the timestamps for all of the questions. But it's kind of like, how do I say? It's kind of like a really good opportunity to, even though it's scary, you have a good opportunity to be able to go and meet a lot of people, like, who are also in that same position, is what I'm trying to say. So it's intimidating, it's scary, but that's really comforting to know, like, okay, it's not like you're moving to a new school and everybody there has their friends and the cliques have already formed. It's a great, great way to meet other people. If you're a Christian, church is a good place to make friends, especially Tim. Like, that's where I've met my closest friends, my community group that I'm in. I've even had subscribers join my community groups and we meet, once a week. And so it's just crazy how, or come to like our prayer, like some prayer meetings that my friends and I have. So it's just like, if you put forth the effort, you will be able to meet people quite easily here. So that's hopefully one thing that can help you in like the fears of coming. And as far as I guess the focus on the word doubt that you used, if you're doubting like, why did I do this? Remind yourself of why you did and try to allow your doubt to like tell it it's okay, but meet it with reality. So if you need to write a list out of all the reasons why you signed up to come to Korea or why you wanted to come here in the first place, why you always wanted to travel abroad, try to write that all down. I mean, that goes in so many areas of life. Like, feelings can pull and push us, and sometimes feelings are beautiful. It's what makes us get so invested in TV shows and be able to cry over the death of a character that's actually fictional, but you really thought they were real. So it's like feelings can be a beautiful way that you can love somebody deeply because of feelings. With that, sometimes feelings are not good. Sometimes they're kind of lying to you and they're pushing you away from something beautiful and exciting. So make sure you write facts down. Make sure you try to remind yourself, okay, why did I want to do this in the first place? And really try to look over that list whenever that doubt starts to come and go. If you focus on the doubt, if you let your mind focus on the category of, oh my gosh, like why, and you hold it there, it's going to be so much harder to get here. But if every time you're met with that doubt, you have a list you can look over and say, yeah, that's right. This is why. This is why. This is why. It kind of helps pull and like tame that doubt, if that makes sense. Um, bum, bum. Life lesson for you guys. A lot of people don't think I'm as old as I am. I'll be 30 in December. So I have experienced a lot of, I'm not saying I'm old, but I'm not fresh out of college. I've hit a lot of bumps and bruises in life. I've been through some pretty insane trials and tribulations. And I think I've just learned that I get in my own way the most of my time, especially in these incredible things like traveling abroad. I end up getting in my own way and making it a harder experience than it really needed to be. Like if somebody is looking at you on the subway, and I'm preaching to myself here, if somebody's looking at you on the subway, sometimes people love it. They're like, but for me, I've kind of gotten to that point where I wear hats a lot if I'm in touristy areas because I'm like, I just don't want anybody to look at me. I don't want to see their eyes looking at me. But for example, I didn't have a hat on. I was going on the subway into Hongdae, and this man came up and was like shoving his phone, I guess both, getting in front of me, speaking to me in Korean, and putting his phone in my face, like, "Do you live in Korea?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." Like, it's just very strange and uncomfortable, and he kept trying to make me put my phone number in his phone without saying anything. He's like, call my phone number so he can see that it popped up on my phone. Not just like, let me give you my phone number. Call it so that I know that you're not giving me a wrong number, which is incredibly not okay. And the ladies like next to me were like giving so many, like death glares. And he just wasn't like, just didn't care. And eventually I just said in Korean that I think this is a little bit uncomfortable. And he got off at like like he got off and kind of like got away. But eventually I just got off the subway because I was so uncomfortable. And I don't even know why. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you hardly speak any English. What were we gonna talk about? Like, I was just ah! And I leave those experiences getting frustrated, right? Like I leave that experience going, oh, Korea, like Koreans, like why do you like leave me alone? And I put the negative spin on it and then I get frustrated and I allow that to kind of build. Whereas if I just kind of step away and say, look, I don't know what this guy was doing. It's not appropriate, but clearly he doesn't understand it's not appropriate. So I'm going to try to say in a I'm not going to be mean to him. I'm just saying, I think this is uncomfortable. I think he got the point ish. But, I really have no idea. Maybe there was like a deeper reason why. Like, I'm just going to walk away from that and let it go rather than allow it to like build up. And if you try to not feel like everybody's just looking at you like there's something wrong with you. Maybe they're just looking at you because they really don't see foreigners. They don't come to Seoul very often and they're really cool. Like, oh my gosh, a foreigner, like this is so cool. Or maybe they do think you're attractive. Compliment to you. Try to allow yourself to maybe turn it more positively and don't let yourself get in your own way, because it will make your trip in Korea so much better if you're able to see things in that positive light, like rather than in that harder, negative, frustrating life. But with that being said, you can have Korea days. I used to live in China. We called them China days. And that's when we were like, today was just not a good China day. Like, you just couldn't take the looks today. Like, you just felt like you stuck out so much and someone yelled at you or something, like, and it's okay to have bad days too. Just try your best to go back to that list that you made of like, why did I come to Korea? I'm turning that off. Okay. Let me go back to these Instagram questions because you guys have so many good questions. I got really sidetracked. If you want to go to a Korean bank and you hope that they speak English, go to a location that is a touristy area. So Myeongdong or Hongdae. I think those would be your two best places. And you could go to any of the banks if you needed to talk to somebody in English. Best time of day to use the metro in Seoul. Don't take it from 7 until 9:45 a.m. And I don't recommend 4:30 to 7:30 all that much either. But any other time you're fine. Honestly, at those hours, I live kind of on the outskirts of Seoul, so I take the bus because I know that by the time it gets closer into the city, it gets packed, but it's not packed that I can, like, when I get on, I have a seat. And so I feel way less cramped, and maybe traffic takes forever. Like, it takes forever for me to get to where I'm trying to go, but they have bus lanes, so sometimes it goes faster. But that's kind of like my recommendation. A lot of questions about having children or toddlers, infants. Like, what do you recommend doing? So I don't got children, but I tried to look this question up a little bit in advance. So the only place that I could think of was COEX Mall. There's so much to do in that mall, places to eat, shops to go to, but there is an aquarium that's really famous there. So I think the aquarium would be a really cool thing to maybe take some kids to. Lotte World, I think that's more of a kid thing. Like, I think kids would have maybe more fun there than, no, you can have fun there as an adult, but people think like amusement park, fun rides. The only ride that I like super enjoyed, so I'm trying to get more comfy, but I'm also trying to keep my legs covered because there's a mosquito in my house. Lotte World, I think it's better for kids because there's like all these shows that they have like a stage with constant like performances throughout the day. There's a lot of cutesy things to buy and wear, and girls and guys who are in like up through high school, college, people go and put the uniforms on as well. So that's fun too, but it's not like a rides thing. So I think it's good for kids because some of the rides are very like kid friendly. They have like kid sections and stuff like that. So I think Lotte World would be fun. There's also a Seoul Children's Museum that is kind of on like the east side of Seoul, and it's very interactive for kids and toddlers. And there's also a craft village as well, and I guess a lot of the crafts in that museum are actually free. Sometimes there are some that you have to pay, but I don't got children, so I don't know the answer to the question all that well. But in my last live, where I added timestamps with all of the questions, I talked about why it's hard to take a stroller around Korea. And so I'd recommend you watch that if you did have a question about that. Someone did ask about social events. I mentioned a list earlier of how you could meet other people, but there's an Instagram account called Interesting Korea. I've worked with them a lot. Wonderful people, and they've been doing a really good job. Like their Instagram game is like, good job, Interesting Korea. So at Interesting Korea, I think that's a good way to always see like the events of the month. They always post the events of the month on there. How do I order delivery food in Korea if I don't have an ARC? I love you so much too. Below, I linked the app that you can use. It's called Shuttle, and I have a promo code there for you as well. That's the only way that you can use it without an ARC. So as a tourist, you have to use that, but it's not. It's been growing in popularity for a long time, but it's definitely an in Seoul app, not as much outside of Seoul. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, questions on Instagram. Questions on Instagram. Huh? Steve, do you want me to bring you anything from the States? You're so kind. Thank you so much. Now that it's September, did the weather finally get cooler? Yes. Yes, it did. Thank goodness. We're not dying quite as much. I'm from America. I'm from America. Talking about getting a job as a foreigner. This is it's complicated because I think it's gotten a lot harder these days. Because everybody's trying to come here, and this might have to be one of the last questions that I answer. Okay, I'll answer one more because that question's a good question too. It's getting a lot harder to find jobs as a foreigner, especially if you don't speak Korean. It's almost honestly impossible. People want to come here for so many various reasons, and a lot of them are possible, but understand it's going to be difficult if you don't speak Korean, because if somebody knows how to do the exact same thing you know how to do, but they speak Korean, they're going to get the job. So to be good at whatever you do, so if you're good at marketing, if you have a degree in marketing, if you have experience in marketing, it would be easier for you to get a job in marketing in Korea with like a foreigner company. But yeah, it's really like being an English teacher is one of the few things that I can guarantee you'd be able to find a job. And I'm like, what other jobs can I say with a guarantee that you can get it? It all comes down to you have to speak Korean. So if you can really work, even if you speak some Korean, your life here would be so much easier. And I think that that's one of the hardest things about living in Korea is my Korean is still so limited that it's hard to ever feel like I can do a lot of things fully. Like I start to just always feel even more so like the foreigner than you. Like I will never be fully accepted because I'm a foreigner in all circumstances. But if I spoke Korean, it would at least help me in the process of going out. Like I always need people to help me find apartments and stuff because that's a huge and scary thing. And if you don't speak Korean, there's a lot of ways in which you can get taken advantage of. And so if I speak Korean more fluently, I would be able to live here more independently. So for just a lot of reasons, I really think you need to be able to speak Korean. But if you did want to work here, you desire to come here and get a job that's maybe not an English teacher, I really recommend you coming at least as a tourist, maybe as a language exchange program or something, and making connections, meeting people, being in Korea to go speak to companies in person or go to job interviews like in person or go to companies, it's better to be here than to sign something from abroad. Yeah, it's just a little bit better to come here, get the lay of the land, see if you actually even like living in Korea, and then maybe latch yourself onto a job that's more permanent later. Because I think a lot of people don't actually know what it's like to live in Korea until they're in Korea. And there's a lot of rose-colored glasses moments, like you come for a very short period of time and it still seems super fun, doesn't mean you won't love living here for years and years and years, but just to come for maybe a month or two and really try to like live here. Homesickness doesn't kick in until like month 3 or 4. So there's a lot about like living abroad that people don't anticipate to be a struggle. So I'd rather you come here, try it, check it out, maybe be an English teacher for just a year, even if it's not really what you've always wanted to do. The pay is good. They usually give you an apartment, and that's a visa that's long term. So you can actually feel like a person rather than tourists. There are so many things that you can't do until you're more set in stone. And try to get a lay of the land, and then you'll be much like you'll have such an easier time finding some of those long-term visas because you'll make connections. Like a lot of jobs I've gotten for my content creation came from meeting people and the fact that I was here meeting people like in Korea. That's how I got my entertainment visa, was because I was in Korea, met the right people who pointed me in the right directions. So definitely recommend trying to come here for like a longer period of time before you sign any like big job contracts from afar. And if you did find some sort of work contract, make sure you're not sending them some significant amount of money, slash try to only ever sign 1-year contracts. Do not sign longer contracts. I've never heard good things about people who sign longer contracts. Just tell the people, I prefer to do 1 year for now, and then if I like you, maybe we can sign a longer one in the future. That's safer for you, especially. And then the last question I'm gonna answer is, what's your favorite season in Korea or just in general? So cute. In Korea, I love fall. So I am like, it's happening. Nami Island. Oh, I should have said that with the children. Everybody got to go to Nami Island, whether or not you got kids or not. Go to Nami Island, guys. Um, Small job for a student. Sadly, you can only work if your school approves it. So there's really no such thing as in Korea having a small job as a student. You are going to have way too much homework. Koreans like study requirements are way more than most other countries. So just to make sure that you have enough, that's why to be a student here, you have to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. You have to prove I have this much money available for me to use, because you usually can't work at all in like the first semester, and then or for the first 6 months, but then after that those 6 months they allow you to work part-time, but it has to be approved. And so it's not, it's not like quite as easy. And the job options are limited because most of those part-time jobs you need to speak Korean. So if you wanted to work at a convenience store, you know, giving them the cigarettes and the kimbaps, you still need to be able to speak Korean because Korean people will come into the place. But you could maybe tutor part-time, but again, you would need to get it approved. You can't make money unless it's been approved if you're on a visa that isn't intended to make money. So like teachers can only teach. So if you wanted to do anything other than that, you got to get it approved, and it won't get approved. You're not allowed to as a teacher. Students are only supposed to study, but if you want to do some sort of part-time job, you got to get it approved. Entertainment visa, I can only work with camera related things. Anything other than that, like I can't do. It would have to get approved, but it won't get approved. So yes. Um, oh, I got distracted. I really like fall because the colors here are just vibrant yellow, vibrant reds. Like my view actually, like I can see some trees from my apartment, and I can't wait to watch it change colors. It's gonna be so pretty. But please go to Nami Island. Go on a weekday. Don't go on a weekend. You'll die. um, Fall is coming. I'm so excited. Um, I I don't want to go, but I really have to go. I still have to finish like packing and cleaning my apartment because I won't be in here for 5 days. And it's currently a bit of a mess because I lost track of time this week and ended up helping my friend out. But yeah, I didn't think about the fact that I was leaving on Monday. So I have to head out of here, but it was really nice to hang out with you guys. Maybe next time that we do a live stream, I can do just comment section. I won't post anything in advance so that my eyes can stay more focused on the comments. But today was more supposed to be like YouTube and Instagram comments. So I hope something was helpful. I feel like time went by super fast. But yeah, I don't want to go. Usually I stay much longer than this, but really wonderful to see all of you guys. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening. Oh, hi, Rach and Fluffs. Good to see you again. Hi, guys. Goodbye for now. Yes. See you next time. Bye, Vicky. Bye. Bye, Justin. Bye, Andy. Pete. Nangi. Bye, guys. I'll do another live soon. I promise. Bye.